Thanks for inviting us in. It's 11 o'clock and we want to begin tonight with the findings from a 3-year investigation into that huge Walmart warehouse fire in Plainfield. That fire was so massive, it took more than 350 firefighters 2 days to put it out. Our Logan Gay has been combing through the report tonight and joins us tonight in the studio. So Logan, what did this report say?
Well, Scott, the Plainfield Fire Chief says the purpose of the 74-page report is all about collaborating with different agencies to make the firefighting profession safer.
3 years after the devastating fire at the Plainfield Walmart warehouse, Fire Chief Brent Anderson says it's something they still think about often.
That was an unprecedented fire, right? A fire in a 1.2 million square foot building is not common.
He says although they were well prepared and equipped, the fact that at the time 55 people were reported missing made this fire even more challenging.
This is not uncommon for us to be in a warehouse, but a lot of complexity in the way those buildings are designed, the fire suppression systems, the strategy and tactics we use, and all those other challenges that come with dealing with a fire in a 1.2 million square foot building with reported people missing.
Because of this, the Plainfield Fire Department worked with a team to study the fire response to help fire protection professionals understand the challenges these buildings may have.
They spent hundreds of hours of their time to put in the research, came and made site visits, interviewed our folks.
The result is this 74-page report. Plainfield Fire Department actually reviewed it first in September before the final release date. Some of the key takeaways: a call to review dispatch protocols and sprinkler shutoff criteria. It also highlighted issues that day with communication technology and the importance of pre-planning how to respond to these types of large buildings.
But we review our policies and our procedures and our operating guidelines to look at the best practices and see where we can make changes. Some of that's in training, right? And a lot of training before a fire ever happens, reviewing fire suppression systems, their operations, how to control those in an emergency. Because that had some communication challenges. We've already added some equipment and stuff to combat those.
Anderson hopes their experiences laid out in the study will help other firefighters nationwide and give his team some closure.
That's the whole point of this report, is to get everyone at least talking about how can we make this better when there is an emergency in one of these types of facilities, because we only learn by doing.
Chief Anderson hopes this report makes its way through fire services everywhere and to the designers who make the fire protection systems for warehouses.
Family. I mean, they've lost a family member.
Tonight at 11, a homicide investigation is now weighing on the people who are living nearby. All of this comes after a man's body was found in an alley on the west side of Indianapolis. That discovery taking place around 3 o'clock this morning near 10th and Tibbs. Our news crew spotted the crime scene tape still up long after police left. Officers confirming tonight trauma to the man's body and a possible gunshot wound. One neighbor's been telling us she feels like her community gets forgotten, but police say they're committed to finding answers and hope someone saw something.
I love our cops, but IPD has sort of let us go. Unless there is a reason for them to come in this neighborhood.
If you were in that alleyway, driving through that alley, and those little links, those key pieces are important.
Investigators have not released the name of the person who died. If you have any tips that can help detectives, call IMPD or Crime Stoppers. A person was just sentenced to 57 years in prison for a deadly shooting in Lawrence. Derek Reeser was convicted of multiple charges, including murder and robbery, after a jury trial last November. The shooting took place back in May of 2023. Police found 18-year-old Bryce Brown inside his car with a gunshot wound to the head. Investigators say Reeser planned to rob Brown. Reeser is the third person convicted as part of this investigation. Tonight, a semi-driver is charged after a crash that killed a 9-year-old boy here in Indianapolis. Dusan Laron is now facing counts of reckless homicide and criminal recklessness. Now, we just got the court documents in this case tonight, and they tell us Laron was on I-465 in a construction zone on the south side and did not stop for backed up traffic. Investigators say he struck multiple vehicles and ultimately jackknifed. 9-year-old Eamon Goodrich was a backseat passenger in one of those cars. He died from his injuries. Several other people were hurt. Tonight, we're getting our first look at body cam video showing an Indiana sheriff's deputy shoot and kill a suspect during a traffic stop. State police presented this case to the Clinton County Prosecutor's Office for independent review. Now, prosecutors determined the deputy's actions were justified. So all of this unfolded back in January, where the deputy tried to pull over a van on State Road 14, not far from the Pulaski County line. Investigators say 42-year-old Matthew Huddle was speeding. They say the deputy tried to arrest Huddle for being a habitual traffic violator when Huddle ran back to the van and then seemed to reach for something.
Now, what I'm going to do, all right, is I'm going to put your information right here for a sec. I want you to turn around and put your hands on. Don't you do it, buddy. No.
So this video shows Huddle threatened to shoot himself. That's when the deputy fired multiple shots, killing Huddle. Investigators say they did discover a loaded handgun and additional ammunition inside that van. This all happened just days after Huddle was pardoned by President Trump for a misdemeanor related to the January 6th riot on Capitol Hill. Tonight at 11, firefighters are now saying that unattended grease on a stove led to this fire at an apartment complex on the northeast side of Indianapolis. Now, according to IFD, no one was hurt today, but people who live there have now been displaced, and this building is heavily damaged. Firefighters say they have responded to more than 115 fires already this year, 3 of them fatal. Firefighters tell us most of the fires were preventable. Angela?
Scott, it's going to be a chilly start to our Friday, so grab the jacket. Early morning temperatures in the low to mid 30s. There will be some sunshine in that Friday forecast, and sunrise is at 7:21. From that cool start, you won't need the jacket during the afternoon hours. Warm and windy. High temperatures will be in the mid 60s. But speaking of the wind, we're under a wind advisory for wind gusts that may top 50 miles per hour. I'll have your full forecast in a few minutes.